always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Hello and welcome to GSMC Entertainment Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Cynthia, and I have no co-host today, so it's just me. All of you listeners get to listen to my beautiful, magnificent voice. No, I'm playing. But it is my first time hosting the entertainment show by myself, so we're going to get through this together. We are going to miss Sarah on today's episode, but everything's going to be fine. And I hope all of you had an amazing week. I went to the snow, which Sarah usually makes fun of me for that because I'm born and raised in California. So here it doesn't snow. You have to go to the snow, whereas where she's from in Montana, the snow comes to her. So I went to Lake Tahoe and it was absolutely beautiful. I was there for a friend's birthday. We rented out a cabin, had matching pajama sets, and it was such a great time. Although it was raining, it was a great time spending time with all of my really close friends from high school. And yeah, I had a great, amazing weekend. And once again, I hope you all did as well. But that's not what we're going to be talking about in today's entertainment show. We have a lot of things to get through. And I'm going to kind of start off the show with a not so great news, pretty sad actually. So in the hip hop community, we did lose someone very precious, gentle soul, and his name is Juice Wrld. So for those of you who don't know, Juice Wrld is an up-and-coming artist, hip-hop artist, and many members in the music community, especially in the hip-hop community, are mourning the loss of the young rapper. He was gone way too soon, and he had so much potential. He died at the age of 21, and his birthday was on December 2nd, so not even a week after his 21st birthday, and he passed away on Sunday. News broke out all over Twitter and other social media venues that he suffered a deadly seizure shortly after landing in Chicago's Midway International Airport. So he had a flight from California to Chicago, and actually law enforcement were waiting for his jet to land at the Chicago airport because they were suspecting of Juice Wrld and his entourage of traveling with contraband on the flight. So law enforcement officials were in the process of confiscating guns and drugs from Juice Wrld and his friends from the flight when Juice Wrld, he started suffering from convulsions and actually went into cardiac arrest. And he started having a seizure at the airport, which that is so scary. If you've ever seen someone having a seizure, it's one of the most terrifying things you can witness. I've witnessed it in many occasions, actually, when I've gone to like music festivals. That freaks me out. So I can't even imagine what he must have been going through at that moment, or the witnesses who were watching him have a seizure. And so the police actually rushed him to the hospital, and Juice Wrld died shortly after at a nearby hospital in Chicago. So sad. Like I said, he was so young and his success was just starting to take off. And the cause of his death is still pending after initial autopsy. More tests are being required before ruling on what exactly led to the artist's death. Law enforcement did ask the rapper's girlfriend, who was on the flight with them when they landed in Chicago, whether he had any medical conditions or anything of that sort, and she replied that he takes Percocet and has a drug problem, which Juice Wrld has been very open about his addiction and drug abuse, and he's expressed this through his music and his lyrics. So again, we can't 100% confirm that his death was based from drugs. But there are a lot of people speculating and assuming that it could be from drugs. And then other article that I was reading, it was saying how he took some pills. He popped some pills right before the flight, but crew members on the jet were saying that him and his entourage were completely fine during their flight and nothing out of the ordinary. So this really just was a sudden death, super abrupt. And other artists in the hip hop community have been expressing their condolences, like Drake, Chance the Rapper, Lil Nas X, and Kehlani. So many more have been expressing, the sadness. And I feel like this year we've been losing a lot of members, not just from the hip hop community, but just within the music industry. A lot of young talent just dying way too soon. Drake actually took to Instagram and he captioned a photo of Juice Wrld saying, "I would like to see all the younger talent live longer, and I hate waking up hearing another story filled with blessings was cut short." And I agree with Drake. I found out, the news broke out while I was in Tahoe Sunday morning, and I couldn't believe it because I wasn't a diehard fan of Juice Wrld. I didn't actively, religiously listen to his music. However, I did hear him a lot in other features, and there is one specific song that I did like from him called Lucid Dreams, and that song is a total hit. So that's how I came across Juice Wrld. But although I wasn't a diehard fan, it still saddens me to hear things like this happening in our community, especially with, I feel like, the Gen Z generation and the younger audience. I feel like a lot of many rappers have glamorized the use of drugs, such as Future and like Percocets and Molly and all the other psychoactive drugs. And I think this is a wake-up call. I feel like there's been several wake-up calls, to be honest. Mac Miller also, he overdosed, and other artists, young artists, have had some drug abuse. And again, I think a lot of it comes from artists' lyrics and the over-glamorization of drugs. So again, his career was short-lived and it was just beginning to take off. As I had just mentioned, Lucid Dreams is still one of my top songs to listen to. And Juice Wrld was originally signed to Interscope Records back in March of 2018 after scoring hits on SoundCloud with that hit single Lucid Dreams and the other one, which is All Girls Are the Same. SoundCloud actually says that Juice Wrld was the most streamed, liked, and reposted artist on its platform in 2018 and was named top new artist at the Billboard Music Awards in May. So as I had mentioned, he is so young. I think he had just graduated 2 years ago from high school. So, I mean, he's a baby, and it really saddens me even to talk about it because I feel like I hear about these type of things all the time. And again, I feel like a lot of it is based from hip hop lyrics in the hip hop community and just the over glamorization of drugs and partying. And again, this Juice Wrld's case is not the first. It's the first of many. And again, I hope that, I hope that artists just kind of take a step back and reflect on what it is, what their message is in their music. What are they saying to the public? And again, especially the younger generation. I feel like Gen Z, especially, not just them, but you know what I'm saying. And again, so his career was just taking off, and Billboard said that his songs reached the Billboard's top 100, and it charted 25 times in less than 2 years, with Lucid Dreams actually hitting number 2 at the Billboard's top 100 chart, which, for those of you who don't know, even landing a song in the top 100 for Billboard is extremely challenging, and it's really impressive once an artist does reach that level. So again, he had so much potential, and I know that he had so much more to offer. He was actually supposed to be performing at Rolling Loud in LA. I think it's within the next week, and he had all of these upcoming performances. I wish I would have seen him live. I didn't get the chance to ever watch him live, but I do have a few friends who did watch him during Coachella 2019. I almost forgot what year we were in. We're getting to 2020, so I'm all mixed up. But some of my friends did see Juice Wrld at the Coachella 2019 performance. He was one of the headliners, and they said he put on a great show, high energy, great performance. So I can only imagine, 5-10 years from now, what his career would have looked like. So again, it's extremely short-lived. And I wanted to talk about specifically one of his song lyrics, because like I said, he has been very open about his struggles with drug abuse and mental illness, such as depression, through his lyrics. Like from one of his songs called Legends, one of the lyrics goes, "What's the 27 club? We ain't making it past 21. So that's referring to how a lot of young men, especially young black men, depending where you come from, don't even make it till the age of 21. And it's just kind of ironic how he explicitly states that in a song, and then shortly after he turns 21, he passes. So again, it's a sad moment for the hip hop community. It's constantly happening, and I feel like we as audience members and listeners of, again, not just hip hop, of any type of music, we really need to kind of reflect and just really understand what we're listening to. What's the message being conveyed, especially to the younger ones? So again, that is the first segment for today's show, and we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'll bring you guys in with a more lighthearted news. We'll be right back.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now, don't bother, what's hot on Netflix, and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Hello and welcome back to GSMC Entertainment Podcast. Right before the break, or just me, because I'm the only one hosting today, I was just telling you guys about the sad news of Juice Wrld's passing. Again, very tragic and unexpected. And again, I'm sending my condolences as well to all of his family and friends. So moving on to a more happier note, I want to talk about Lizzo's Lakers game outfit. So hopefully you guys are on social media, or if you're a spectator or fan of the Lakers, you must have seen Lizzo's outfit for that night, which is a pretty interesting pick if you ask me. So there's a lot of debate going on about Lizzo's game outfit, and not just her outfit, but her antics. She definitely turned heads and caught eyes when she decided to take a fashion risk at last night's Lakers game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So she arrived in this long, black t-shirt type style dress. And the way that she cut it, she did it to conveniently allow her butt and thong to show. So literally she's wearing this long black shirt with a big circle cut out on her butt. So her whole butt is hanging out. Okay. And this is in public. This is at a Laker game in front of hundreds, I think even thousands of fans, people there. And I saw at first, I think she posted it on her Instagram, where she's walking through the arena tunnel and she has someone recording behind her and her whole bosom there is showing. And she goes, I'm not going to say the cuss words, but she goes, none of you girls or she said, this is how bad girls show up to a Lakers game. None of you girls can even spell Minnesota. Laughing, she's joking because she already knows that she's going to be getting a lot of criticism due to her outfit choice. And during the game, the Laker girls or dancers decided to do a performance to one of Lizzo's hit singles called Juice, which prompted Lizzo, of course, to leave her courtside seat and join in on their performance. So when the Jumbotron panned to Lizzo, she starts twerking for the cameras, which is such a, I feel like, Lizzo thing to do. So she starts twerking, right? And I'm just kind of thinking, like, aren't there kids there, But also, I mean, the dancers, there's always flesh being shown at sporting events. Like, I think it's just the fact that, she's a bigger lady. And I feel like that's the reason why it may have made a lot of people that much more uncomfortable. Because I feel like if maybe it was a Kardashian booty they were looking at, or a much slimmer woman's butt was showing off, I feel like there wouldn't be as much debate or controversy around her outfit. But again, I think it has to do a lot with the shape of her body and that she's a woman of bigger size. So, and due to this fashion choice, and her behavior as well, it set social media on fire, and fans started trolling her on last night's antics, especially on Twitter. I was scrolling through and I was seeing all of these posts and memes of Lizzo and her butt, and a lot of the users didn't find this joke too funny, or these trolls were taking it a little too far, and some social media users were even calling this whole situation as, fat phobia or fat phobic, which I partly do agree. I mean, like I said, it's a double standard due to the way Lizzo looks, her body, right? She's a lot bigger than the girls who, like the Lakers dancers, they still show midriff, cleavage, booty. So what's the difference with a more petite size lady showing her body off than it is Lizzo, a woman of much larger size, and she's all about exuding body positivity and confidence. That's Lizzo's whole image, right? So I feel like it's almost kind of expected when you go to, or when you see Lizzo, like that's just what she does. She twerks, she's loud, she's rambunctious, that's just her. So she's just living up to, I guess, the image she's portraying for the public. But my biggest concern with her whole outfit choice and her bum hanging out, it's not necessarily that her butt's like hanging out that bothers me. It's just, it bothers me that her bare butt is touching the seat. Her bare bottom is touching a seat that many fans sit on. So I really hope I'm pretty sure the people who work at Staples Center must have disinfected her seat for hygiene purposes. So, and also in a courtside interview with Fox Sports, she's so funny. She was saying how I'm personally cheering for number 32. That's my baby, which is Carl Anthony Townsend from the Minnesota Timberwolves. So again, I don't think she's being absolutely serious. You just have to take Lizzo with a grain of salt. Like, that's just her personality. I feel like she's trying, that's her goal. She's trying to make people uncomfortable. I really think that's kind of what her whole underlying goal is. And I think it's funny, to be honest. I think this is comical and it's expected of Lizzo. I mean, at the American Music Awards, if you tuned into, I think it was either last week's episode or the week before that, she showed up with the tiniest Valentino purse. Like, only a penny or a dime can fit in that purse. So I feel like that's kind of, she wants to be talked about, right? That's just what Lizzo is and what she does. And again, I think her whole outfit it's funny to me, but it's definitely not good hygiene. So that's just my personal opinion, but all internet users have their own opinions, right? So as long as Lizzo's happy and she's just staying in her own lane and minding her own business. So you can't hate on that. And now the next thing I want to talk about is again, it's kind of sad just because I grew up watching this reality TV show, and it's a reality TV show that this show is what got me into reality TV, if that makes sense. Aside from Bad Girls Club, which is a whole nother subject I won't get into today. So Snooki announced that she's retiring indefinitely from Jersey Shore. Now, I know Jersey Shore is a show that many people either hate or love, but I live for it. Like, I remember growing up and watching it. If I started watching it in high school, because that's when it first became super popular. I mean, it premiered in 2009, and it instantly became a pop culture phenomenon. So many memes, like, your cab's here, and like meatheads, like different terminology is really what got this show booming. So Jersey Shore, and it has done amazing. I mean, there's so many like spin-off series now from Jersey Shore, such as Jersey Shore Family Vacation, what's the other one? Snooki and JWoww. So there's a whole bunch of spin-off series from Jersey Shore. So it must mean, it's successful. So Snooki is retiring from Jersey Shore, and she's going to be on the 3rd season of Jersey Shore Family Vacation. However, she did state that if they renew the show for a 4th season, she will not be joining them. And she announced this unexpected news on Friday's episode of her podcast called It's Happening with Snooki and Joey. And she shared the news with her fans. And what was surprising to me as well is that even her co-stars from Jersey Shore had no idea that she was doing this. This was a surprise for everybody. And I'm just going to quote exactly what she said from her podcast. Okay, you guys, I love you so much, and don't hate me for my decision, but I have to do what's best for me at the moment, and I am retiring from Jersey Shore. I hate being away from the kids. I don't like partying 3 days in a row. It's just not my life anymore. And I 1000% agree with Snooki. I mean, I'm not a mom, but I feel like, she's kind of past that whole party hard stage of her life. I feel like most of us have that. I'm only in my mid-20s, and I feel like I'm past my whole partying stage. And I mean, she's 32. She has 3 young children. She has a husband. I mean, she's got a home to take care of. So her main priority is obviously not to go on a show and get drunk and be catty and start drama, because that's the whole point of Jersey Shore, right? Like, is drama, and that's what makes it so entertaining. But I completely understand her point of view, and I do not hate her, even though she said that. I feel like most fans are going to understand where she's coming from. I feel like a lot of fans will be bummed, because I feel that Snooki kind of makes up the show. She is the definition of Jersey Shore. She's the one who, with the incredible memes, most of them are copied from her. Like, there's just so many funny memes or funny moments within Jersey Shore, and most of them are Snooki scenes. So I feel like that's why the majority of Jersey Shore fans are a little bummed that she won't be joining the 4th season of Jersey Shore Family Vacation. However, there are some people who are kind of hating, and they're saying, oh, she's just saying that for attention. She'll be back once they start airing the 4th season. She'll miss it. So, but I don't know. I mean, if I were in her shoes, I probably would take a step back and kind of rearrange my priorities. And it's obvious that her priorities right now is her family and taking care of her kids. So again, 1000% agree with her decision if that's really what she's going to follow through with. She also did say in her podcast that Jersey Shore is just getting too dramatic, and she doesn't like the person she's being portrayed as via the show. So, of course, editing is a hell of a skill, right? And editing can really do wonders once airing a show or any type of video for that matter. And I mean, we really don't know what goes on behind the scenes of reality TV. It's a reality show. I mean, if there's no drama, there's no show, and there's no airing of the show. So editors have to pinpoint and make someone the bad guy in this, right? So I feel like I I understand her decision, and I wouldn't want to be portrayed as something I'm not in front of thousands of people watching me through their TV screens. Another scary thing also, Snooki, she received death threats. Like, that's crazy. She received death threats from all throughout the years of being on the Jersey Shore show. That's kind of like a tongue twister. I can't really say it. But so again, if her family's at risk and being put in danger, I would also as well take a step back and not want to do the show. And JWoww, she did post on Instagram a picture of her and Snooki, and she put ride or die till the end. So of course they're besties. She's obviously supporting her decision all the way, and I love that. And Snooki is not going to be completely gone from reality TV. She just doesn't want to be a part of Jersey Shore. She also has a show with her husband, and she's also been featured in like Dancing with the Stars season 17. So she'll still be around. We probably won't see her in the next season, the 4th season for Jersey Shore Family Vacation. And she wants to be a part of something that's more fun, more lighthearted. And I don't blame her. I would probably do the exact same thing if I were in her positions. And I want to know from you guys, let me know in the comments if you guys also grew up or was a fan of watching Jersey Shore. I feel like it's a for sure generation thing. I know for sure that Sarah probably is like not a fan of Jersey Shore. So let me know in the comments if you guys did watch it. I'm interested to see how many Jersey Shore fans we might have in here. And we're going to take another break, and we're going to move on to a different topic when I come back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hello and welcome back to GSMC Entertainment Podcast. Right before the break, just a little refresher, we were talking about Snooki retiring from Jersey Shore, and I almost forgot the Lizzo's Lakers game outfit, of course. And moving on to the final topic of today's show, we're going to be discussing the 2020 Golden Globes nominations. It just released today, earlier Monday, so that's why I felt it was necessary to talk about it in today's show. Now, the 77th Annual Golden Globes Award Show will be live not until January 5th of 2020, so next month, and it honors the best in film and American television. So I won't get into too much detail about the award show right now because I will save it for another episode in the future weeks. And I'm just going to list a few of the current nominations that kind of stood out to me. So for Best Motion Picture Drama, the movies that were included in this category were The Irishman, Joker, Marriage Story, 1917, and The Two Popes. Now, my personal opinion, who I think should win this category for Best Motion Picture Drama, I believe should be Joker. I absolutely loved that movie. Usually for me, Joker is a pretty long movie. It's about like a 2-hour long movie, and I can't sit through movies that are that long. I just start kind of snoozing off, and my mind starts wandering, and I start looking at my phone. I just get too distracted. But Joker, I was enticed throughout the entire film. And I think it's also because a lot of people, like my brother and other people, were telling me, like, you need to go watch it. they set the bar and standards high for me. So I went in already thinking like, this is a good movie. So that could be why it heightened the way I think about the film. But it really is a great film if you haven't seen it. And I know this isn't the movie podcast, but just to throw it out there, go watch Joker if you haven't. Not sure if it's still in theaters, but once they release it on, streaming platforms, highly suggest. But that's my opinion. Joker should take the cake for Best Motion Picture Drama. And for Best Animated Motion Picture goes to Frozen 2, or these are the nominations for Best Animated Motion Picture, which include Frozen 2, How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, Toy Story 4, Missing Link, and The Lion King. This is a pretty tough one if you ask me. I mean, I feel like the animated motion pictures now are on the come up. Like, the quality of the animation has obviously improved a lot within the last decade as technology advances. And I'm just kind of curious, like, how is it that Frozen 2 just released early December, like a week late, 2 weeks ago, maybe? How is it that it's already nominated for a Golden Globes award? That's just a little strange to me, because when I was reading on how they kind of evaluate the films, some were saying that they even look back within like the last 2 years, some within the last year. So I'm just that puzzled me a little bit. That seems like not very right if you ask me. I mean, we already know award shows are a little rigged in some ways, but how is it that it's not even a month has the movie released for Frozen 2 and it's already awarded for Golden Globes? I mean, what exactly the people who are evaluating these movies, what are they basing it off of? Are they basing it off, isn't it supposed to be like, is it box office revenue? Is it people buying merchandise, people streaming? Like, what exactly is it that allows movies, films to be nominated for Golden Globes? So that just was a big question mark for me, because it just released, Frozen 2. It's a pretty tough category if you ask me, like Toy Story 4, Lion King. I love those movies, so it'll be interesting to see who actually takes the win for this category. Now for Best Director, this category there's a lot of controversy with it, and I'll get into it in just a short moment. So for Best Director, nominees are Bong Joon-ho for the movie Parasite, Sam Mendes for the movie 1917, Todd Phillips for the movie Joker, Martin Scorsese for The Irishman, and Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, many film fans are upset and believe there's a lack of accurate representation and accuracy of these nominations. So, for one, there was no female directors included in this category. And this isn't the first time that the Golden Globes kind of excludes women from Best Director, Best Writer nominations. And what they're saying is, oh, well, they just base it off like numbers and how well movies do. But I'm pretty sure there are many qualified films that are directed by women who can fall in this nomination. So again, that's my personal opinion. I always feel like award shows are a little rigged, but it's entertaining to keep up with them. Hence, that's why it's in an entertainment podcast show. Just because there's just a lot of speculation. You just never know really how they determine the winners and nominees and all of that complicated stuff. So that's one that I wanted to kind of mention. For Best Director, no women were mentioned. However, I love Quentin Tarantino films. And for Todd Phillips, the Joker, again, I loved the Joker. So Todd Phillips should be nominated for Best Director. Now, for the other nominations, or for other actors that weren't nominated for any Golden Globe award, which kind of surprised me, was Robert De Niro and Zendaya, especially Zendaya. Because, I mean, especially like the scene she shot for Euphoria, how did she not get nominated for any award? That's just astounding to me. Euphoria did so well, and it was highly popular. I mean, to this day, if you log onto YouTube, there's so many like beauty gurus and like makeup tutorials that are inspired from the film Euphoria. So you can't tell me that that Euphoria or Zendaya didn't make the numbers or had reached high enough success to be nominated for a Golden Globe nomination, where that be like Best Actress, Best TV Series. And so that one stunned a little bit to me, and I don't really understand that. So, and again, for award shows, people shouldn't really validate, like, whether you're a musician, an actor, actress, director, whatever. You shouldn't really validate your success or your worth based on these award shows, because I mean they're rigged, they're skewed, and they just go by popular opinion, not really on who's the best of the best. So, and I think I mentioned this briefly for the American Music Awards. I think Halsey is the one who actually brought this to light in her acceptance speech, but she was referring to the Grammys. I'm referring to the Golden Globes, but still it's all, the same thing. It's award shows. So that's just, again, this is all my personal opinion. You guys can disagree with me, but I just believe they're rigged. And for this one, I know a lot of my Game of Thrones fans are upset about this one. Game of Thrones did not get nominated for any Golden Globe award. The only one who got nominated was Kit Harington for Best Actor in Drama TV Series. Now, I know you guys are going to hate me, but I have never watched a single episode of Game of Thrones. And I know if Sarah was sitting right next to me, she would gasp because she is a fan. I know there are many fans of Game of Thrones that are not liking me right now. But yes, I have to be honest. I've never watched Game of Thrones, but I've always heard of it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's like many, many seasons. So again, it must be super popular if they're bringing season after season back. And again, that one, although I never watched Game of Thrones, that one surprised me just because I've always heard of how widely popular the show is. And that just, again, these nominations, I'm just puzzled on all of them. And When They See Us, this one is another one that got me just like, what are you doing, Golden Globes? That was my initial reaction when I read this headline, was that the amazing Netflix series When They See Us didn't lock in any Golden Globe nominations, and none of their actors or actresses got awarded for a Golden Globe nomination, which, again, this is surprising because When They See Us managed to lock 11 Emmy nominations earlier this year, but none for the Golden Globes. And When They See Us, it was actually the most streamed series on Netflix for 2 weeks after its debut. So how is it that they didn't get nominated? So that one puzzled me. And I think When They See Us, I mean, if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. Highly, highly recommend. I was left in tears in some episodes. I mean, I'm a Cancer, so we're very sensitive, and I cry like in any movie. I cry in even animated films. That's just the way I'm built. But When They See Us, I highly recommend, and I feel it does a very accurate, displays a very accurate picture of institutionalized racism in America, and that may be like a hard pill to swallow for some people. So it's definitely an eye-opener, and I learned a lot from the film. And again, it just stunned me. It really did. And I think its omission speaks to the rapidly fading influence that many major award shows, such as the Golden Globes, American Music Awards, Grammys, all of those, how those award shows are kind of declining as far as like popular influence, pop culture, and cinema. So again, like Halsey said in her American Music Awards acceptance speech, we shouldn't take these awards as a validation of our worth. I mean, I'm saying like I'm a celebrity. I'm not. But for artists, or if you're an upcoming artist, if you have big dreams of, being in the entertainment industry, I would say maybe, don't let these awards get to your head. As long as you are proud of what you put out and you believe that your craft is an accurate representation of what you do, of who you are, I feel like that's all that should really matter. It's all based on the individual and not on some rigged award show. Again, that's just my opinion. And on that note, that's going to conclude today's entertainment podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you like today's episode, don't forget to leave some nice comments, subscribe, like, share, all of that good stuff. And again, thank you for tuning to GSMC Entertainment Podcast. And I'll be here next week again to fill you guys in on more entertainment news. And I wish you all to have an amazing week and catch me here for the next episode.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.